Hi YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a weekly plan with me for April the 21st through the 27th, 2024. And this voiceover is going to be like a ASMR, I guess, because I have my window open because it's such a nice breeze. So I'm hearing like the birds chirping and cars driving by and just like the natural environment sounds, especially with my birds. They are pretty quiet for now, but I'm not sure in the next 5 minutes what will happen. But let's get into this video. So I am setting up my Hobonichi. The traveler's notebook is as well as like the Mead notebook. So I've decided to use the Mead notebook. That is my emotional support notebook. And this week I'm just going to track my food because I want to see what it is that I've been eating and the effects that it has on me. So I really been trying to keep up with the amount of carbs or starches, so to speak, that I've been eating, because that's what I really struggle with, and how that plays a part in just my gut health and how I've been feeling lately, stomach wise. Now, I am lactose intolerant, and I think it's bothering me more than ever before. Like, I'll take lactose pills and will substitute with like non-dairy things sometimes, but if the cheese is not that big of an issue, like a slice of cheese, like if I'm having a burger or something like that where is a slice of cheese on it, I don't need to take a lactose pill for that. My stomach is not that bothered, but I think it's just a lot coming into play with my stomach and just how everything has been going with my gut health in general. And a big part of that, I believe, is stress as well. So real quick, I'll let the video play as me just planning, but I did want to provide a little update with what I'm doing now with the Hobonichi. And I've seen people on previous videos use the Hobonichi weeks for a budgeting planner. And I'm kind of starting to think that might be something that I could use the Hobonichi for the rest of this year and the coming years. Now, I love the weeks, as I've mentioned time and time before. Pretty much every week that I've had for the last couple of years have gone through a turn of, it started off as a planner, then it turned into a memory keeper, then it turned into like all of these things. And I think that's the reason why I like it, because I keep coming to it and it's something that I've done consistently. One like notebook that I've used consistently. But if this works out for me for the rest of the year or even the next couple of months with having it as a budget planner, then when next year comes, I'll just get two Hobonichis, one for like the planning and the other strictly for budgeting. So that's what you see me do now. I'll be doing my expense tracking on here and just overall budgeting in general. So I put like some goals down for the week, no spend habit tracker, and one of the stickers has a spot for like what's your amount in your savings, checkings, and stuff like that. And then a daily spend is the other one. So that's something that's new that I plan on utilizing. But getting back into what I was saying before with stress. And April is Stress Awareness Month. So I wanted to share that with you all, but I also encourage you all to pay attention to your body, because a lot of times, especially if we have health issues in general, and here goes the birds, especially if we have health issues in general, then I gotta move. If we have health issues in general, then we might like pawn off, I guess, certain things with our stomach or our sleep and stuff like that, just making it kind of go with, well, it goes with this health condition, which in fact, it could be because of stress. And so many people, I think people know the effects of stress, but at the same time, I think they don't know the extent of how far stress can go and just how much it can affect you and your body longevity and just any current symptoms. So I encourage you to look at, I know it's about to be the end of the month. It's the 21st. So this month is pretty much gone, but hopefully you all can work on like doing something each day, even if it's only for 3 minutes, that works to help your stress management. Or even if it's just awareness overall, like even if you just journal for a week about how stress has affected you. So whenever I want to really go in depth about a subject, or I really want to dive deep with myself and explore my feelings around something, I'll create either my own journal prompts as to whatever topic, or I'll look on Google and just, type in journal prompts for stress, journal prompts for money, and different things like that. And that way it gives you a start to open that door on how to explore your thoughts and feelings and behaviors around something. So if you're the type of person that may not normally journal or has never really done your own prompts, then go on Google, look it up, and just, or even if it's just simple journaling, like each day for the rest of this month or each day for this week, you take time and just say, okay, I'm going to spend 3 minutes on writing down how stress has affected my life. Or each day, at the end of the day, were you stressed? And if so, what areas did you see it in? And what behaviors did you see? How did you know that you were stressed? And I think that's part of how we start to tackle the things that bother us, because I'll be the first to say stress has always been a part of my life, and because I never done anything about it for so long, it was normalized until that's just how I live life. I didn't think about changing it because it became a part of me in a sense, and that's really bad to say, but that's the reality of what it was. It became a part of my everyday life until I learned to deal with it. And when you think about things in that sense, how many of us have at some point of in our life learned to deal with something that was unhealthy, and we just dealt with it, whether it was a partner in a relationship, whether it was our kids' behavior, whether it was our job's behavior, or however they were treating us, and we just dealt with it for whatever reason. And even just our relationship with ourselves. How many times have we, communicated poorly with ourselves? Like whether it's we talk down on ourselves. Like I've heard people say, "Oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. I should have did better. I should have known better." And then I've also heard quite a few people jokingly down themselves, and it's really not a joke. It's really like an uncomfortable response to something, but it's kind of taken or laughed off as a joke, like, "Oh, I'm so stupid. I'm such a klutz. Why would I do that? I don't have no brain cells." Or, and it's it's not becoming, and it's something that if you leave it there, it will be becoming, and it won't be just becoming. It will be a part of who you are. And we've seen that with just how some of us have grown up, like how many people have grown up in supportive environments where they constantly hear, "You can do this, you're smart, you're loved, you're a bright child, you just so smart, everyone loves you." And then how many people have grown up on the total other side of that is You stupid. No one likes you. You always mess up. You such a klutz. You don't never have no friends. I wonder why. You're mean. You this and that. And it just sticks. And after something sticks so long, I think unknowingly people just turn into what others have said that they were. So even when you look at that, I think about kids now in the line of work that I do, and like kids that are bullies or even adults that are bullies. How many times have they heard before they were actually a bully that you stupid, you're not going to be worth nothing. When you grow up, you're not going to amount to nothing. You're not going to do anything with your life. And I think with hearing certain things, we posture our behavior to that. So like, I know growing up and even now, one thing that was instilled in me from a youth and throughout my life was what did God say about me? What does God say about me? What does God think about me? Like, yes, the world thinks this, and yes, I may think this about myself, but what does God say about me? What does He think I am? Who do He think I am? And even if I don't feel it, or even if I've struggled to feel that in certain ways, I postured myself that way because that's the way the Father thought of me. And much like that, that's how we're raised. Like if our fathers or our mothers or anyone that we have looked up to, it is people that look up to political figures, and they pattern themselves or posture themselves and their behaviors after that person. Like, how many people have had actors and actresses, and you adored that person and you followed that person? We see it every day on Instagram and social media, and then we just go along with it. So when we think about that, think about the stress that we allow in our lives and the stress that we allow to stay in our life, because no, it doesn't go away easily, and it might always be there in some form. But what are we doing to posture ourselves to create different behavior? Like, yes, our kids may be a stressful situation for us. Our living situation may be a stress. So many people are in stressful living situations, and in order to look beyond that stressful situation, gratitude may have to come first. And maybe that's a way of managing your stress, by gratitude. You may be in a tiny space, and each time you come home, it's like so stressful. Before you even get home, on the way to home, you kind of like, oh gosh, I know I'm finna go in this environment, or I know I'm finna go home to this person, and I know it's gonna be arguing, I know it's gonna be this and that. But before you walk in to that stressful situation, what do you do to posture yourself before that? Do you say, yes, I know I'm going into the stressful situation. However, I have a place to go. I know I'm going into the stressful situation, but I really had a good time at work. I really had a chance to have some really good laughs with some of my friends at work. Or I'm in a stressful situation, but I have a job that is allowing me to be able to save to change that in the future. So stress can come in all forms. It affects us in all ways. And a lot of people, because life is steady going and we've normalized stress in some ways, because we feel we can't do anything about it, then so many of us self-medicate in one way or the other, whether it's doom scrolling or drinking coffee or eating or snacking or drinking alcohol or doing drugs, or spending money, or over exercising or overworking. We compensate in some way. So being able to have control over how we choose to allow that stress to play out in our lives is important. So I leave with you today. How will you respond to stress in your life? And it is not something that we need to beat ourselves up about. Like, if we've been responding in the wrong way, I'm the first to tell you that's one of the reasons why I'm tracking my food and trying to get back into it, because I've been snacking a lot more. I've been not making healthy choices when it comes to what I'm putting in my body, which only furthers the problem. Because if I may start off with being stressed in this one area, but now I'm extra stressed because I've realized I haven't exercised. And on top of not exercising, I'm just eating poorly. So neither one of them are working to my advantage. And getting out of the rut of how you are talking and responding to stress in that moment is so important. And what you tell yourself about stress in that moment is so important. So maybe you're at the point where you are not in the full stage of change. Maybe you have not made it to the point where, is this a stressful situation in my life, or is this something I can deal with? Maybe you're at the point where stress may be a problem. You know, I have been overeating. I have been consuming a little bit more alcohol than normal. I have been a little short with people. I have been a little bit more irritable. You know, stress might be an issue, just like how I started off with my gut. Like, yeah, I'm lactose intolerant, but I also feel like it's a combination of stress, because the stress is affecting my stomach, but then it's also affecting my sleep. And it's like so many areas that it can attack you in, whether it's sleep, eating, how we respond to others, how we show up at work, how we show up as parents or in a relationship. And those are all important. And I know I talked a lot about what do we do to address it. Sometimes our stress is so significant, or it has grown so much and progressed, and it has affected us so much until now it's affecting our day-to-day functioning. Then sometimes we need to just sit down and stop. And as much as we don't want to, because we feel like we have to get to work, we have to do that. Yes, that's important. But if you don't stop it, your body will stop it after a while. Whether it puts you in an area to be more susceptible to getting sick and you have to stop. You've had an outburst when you shouldn't have and you have to stop. You know, anything could happen. So making that choice for yourself to say, you know, a person like me that picks up extra hours, sometimes I have to say I can't. Yes, I need the money, but I can't. My body has tapped out. I need to give it a rest. Yes, and if I need to give it a rest, I need to figure out how can I make adjustments to take care of myself so that money and finances are covered or something is worked out while I take this rest. But that is all. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Have an awesome week.